Continuing with vocalics, then we also talk about modulation, which is sort of like pitch and tone in that it's trying to create some sort of variety in the ways that you enunciate your words. So a absence of modulation would be like a robot voice. So if you talked like this all the time and you did not vary any of the, see, I can't even really do it for very long. Basically, you want to try to vary up the rhythm a little bit of the way that you speak in a way that sounds naturally conversational. And so just imagine that you're having a conversation with somebody, basically, and you will, naturally sort of modulate your speech. It's just, kind of thing to try not to be overly conscious of in the moment, really, but to think about while you're practicing, at least if you can record yourself and hear whether you are doing modulation in your speech or not. Oh, sorry. Okay, the other area of nonverbal communication that we really pay attention to at this level is body movement, which can be broken down into gesture, facial expression, and eye contact. You'll already have noticed that I do a lot of gesturing. I find it easier to emphasize things, to sort of show what I'm feeling about something, to make it feel like, I'm, I guess, emphasizing things with gestures. You don't want to gesture too much. It's possible that, I gesture too much even. But some gesture is good, I think. You can use your arms and your hands to emphasize a point on the rhythm of when you're talking, kind of like that. Facial expression is, kind of like maybe a way of thinking about gesture too. And the position of your body, whenever you see somebody who's really slumped over, kind of, it suggests a little bit of lack of confidence maybe. So you want to try to keep your body position a little bit, upright at least. But as we'll see here, you don't want to do too much like moving around. So especially with video, it's kind of a good thing that it forces you to just stay in one place. But something you really want to keep in mind is to try not to have your head like jumping around in the frame if you can avoid it. A little bit of movement back and forth is natural. It looks like the way somebody would act when they're speaking normally to you, but in the physical context especially too, you want to try to avoid pacing, even though it kind of seems like maybe that would be associated with somebody who's like really intense and dynamic or something. It just tends to be distracting, I think. So gesture is fine to be emphatic. Just try not to do it too much and unnaturally. Doing things with your hands like this, whatever feels natural to you, totally fine. Eye contact. This is sort of a convention of Western culture. That's important to keep in mind, just as we talked about our audience demographics and things like that to keep in mind. Eye contact is not always seen as a sign of respect. In Western culture, however, leveling with somebody through eye contact is seen as, sort of a sign of maybe honesty and connection. As such, tends to make an audience feel like a speaker is, being present and really, being forthright with them, and enhances their credibility. If you're dealing with a large audience, that's going to be, again, a little less applicable to our video speeches. But either way, if you're speaking out at some sort of audience that's not just one person right in front of you, where you make direct eye contact with them, you do this thing of sort of creating the illusion of eye contact, as it says here. And so we can analogously say that it's kind of the below, like the camera, a little bit kind of below the camera, I guess, tends to create that illusion of eye contact. It seems like with video, and this is just an analogy or an analogous way of accomplishing this top of the head method.